I was expecting a little less from him. So I do think he's a low end starter, high end backup. Obviously, how do you quantify it? But going through all the centers in the league, do I think he could be the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th best center in the league? I do. So I think the Jets got a pretty versatile backup here, or at least a good backup center. Now, is he a guy who could play guard as well? They may cross train him on that, but if he could play guard as good as he does center, I think this is probably the best backup lineman the Jets have had. Um, Probably comparable to, and obviously not play styles, but when we had Herbig a few years ago, went to the Steelers and started. I think he's on that level, but much better than the Jonathan Harrisons of the past and Wes Schweizers of the past and Jake Hansen and all these other guys. So we start off not good here with Myers, and we'll get into the strengths and weaknesses. But 26 years old, came out the same year as Justin Fields, I believe. Have started for the Packers for quite a few years now. First play, he chases a combo, and I would say this is probably his one of his biggest problems in the run game is letting guys shoot by, and specifically vertically. When you're working more vertical, obviously, you could take you can't take as many steps on the first level because that pressure from the linebacker is going to be immediate because he's going to be getting vertical on that run instead of getting horizontal. When they get horizontal, maybe you could take 5 steps, 3 steps max for more vertical runs. And here we have him working towards the D tackle here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make contact. 3 steps to get out of there. 1, 2, 3. If he's not there, get a cross shove going. Just get your arms out, pop them. Don't commit your upper body. Get to the second level. He takes those extra 2 steps here. N'Kobe Dean, he's a fast linebacker, shoots that A gap and gets, in on the tap. Now he gets just enough at the end right here. He gets just enough of them to make him off balance. But still, we obviously want him to get to that linebacker better. And how do we do that? We don't chase that combo on that first level, especially when the run is going away. You're talking about like a lead duo. The run is going away. You don't need to create a ton of movement here. The more dangerous threat to this run is not this defensive lineman, it's this linebacker, filling. And again, a little bit late getting there, 2 steps too late getting there, allows him to penetrate right there. Okay. Quick off snap reach. So we go from probably his biggest issue in the run game to probably one of his more impressive traits, if not his most impressive trait is he's explosive. He's definitely explosive. Just watch his movement skills and we'll see it on this rep. He definitely moves well. Now the run does not work out for a multitude of reasons. Not a good kick out or anything like that. But in terms of Myers doing what he's supposed to be doing here, reaching on the first level, does a good job of getting lateral off the snap, and he knows he wants to get positional leverage. He wants to get his hips in front of this block right here where 74 is. So he doesn't want to meet. He doesn't want to meet this defensive lineman. I believe it's Davis with his hips on the backside of his aiming point. So he wants to get his hips in front. So he does a good job getting lateral, working the hand. The right hand is into the chest now, and then using that as a pivot point, swiveling around it, working him up, working up the field with like a pillar. We call a pillar. Reaches him. Now again, the run doesn't get there, but in terms of what he was supposed to do here, he does it perfectly. Again, oh well, it's a 2 yard run. It can't be that good. Again, obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, right? But in terms of Myers and what he was supposed to be doing here, he did it very, very well. And again, emphasizing the explosion off the snap, he moves pretty well. That's for sure. So Myers active eyes 2 for 1. Okay. Again, your center every single rep here. Good in pass pro. I would say he definitely struggles more in the run game than pass pro. Pass pro is starting level, pass pro. So now he's shuffling in his gap protection here, shuffling in his gap protection. Right, knows he has help to the left side, so he's not being over aggressive on 97 here. Feels a little bit of a delay of 97, so his eyes are kind of just peeking around. What's going on here? Obviously, there's some type of game happening. Gets his right hand on the picker, and then his hand on the looper here as well. They don't run the best stunt here. The Eagles with the TT stunt. 97 does not do a great job, but it's good awareness from Myers here. Again, not committing to 97 because he feels the delay. Obviously, he feels the inside track of that rush. So usually when that's happening, there's going to be some type of game. He's delaying to allow a pick to set in. Myers feels that, gets the hand on the picker, also gets his hand on the looper there as well at that last second. Good eyes, activity, not chasing, patience. Myers let second level penetration. Okay, let's see if it's on a combo. Your center right here. Okay, yeah, can't have it. Let's see how many steps he takes. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. Do not want to don't want to start getting into an area where you're and how Jim McNally phrases it is pushing versus shoving. Um, a push. I forget if it's I forget the exact terminology of a shove versus a push. Um, a shove, I believe, is committing your lower body to it as well and taking extra steps, while a push can just be um, just the hands. When you start committing your feet into pushing him, you're going to take those extra steps. So at first he takes one, two, three, fine. Shove him, like just pop him with your hands. Don't commit the feet because then once you take that fourth and fifth step, four, five, now this linebacker is penetrating. He has to get out of that in three steps. Okay, allows that penetration through the A gap again on a vertical run on duo. Um, and Nakobe Dean gets in there to start the tackle, to start the tackle process on Josh Jacobs. So I believe it's just the shove. We want the shove. We don't want the push. By the way, just little brain fart right there. Myers 2 for 1. Okay, he's your center. Okay, again, another situation of good eyes from Myers. So again, gap protection to his left, so he's going to shuffle to his left. He knows he has help from the guard, right? So he's not going to overcommit to 98. Carter gets his right hand into Carter, right? Gets the right hand into Carter while looking at, I believe it's Pawn. Gets his arm out for Bond and just slows him up enough and then overtakes the block. Good activity from him. Not easy with it with a zero tech right over top of you, but scheme awareness, know where your help is coming from, hands on. Gets even held there a little bit, probably by Davis or Carter. Sorry, trying to allow that A gap penetration, but gets his arm out enough, hold him up, and then stay and get on that block. Which, by the way, I don't know exactly how. I believe it's Elton Jenkins grades out, but I didn't like him. I thought he was at least a decent, at least a solid player, maybe decent, but I was not impressed by either of the guards to Myers left and right. By the way, just a little note. We could see that Jenkins oversets that right off the jump and then barely gets a hand on before he's already like in that gap. So not the best play from Jenkins there, but nonetheless, good 2 for 1 play from Myers. Myers quick. Okay, center off the snap. Let's see. He's he's very quick to get very quick hands, explosive, good at getting hands on guys quickly. And right now he's blocking back. So we have counter OH and he's just blocking back to the one tech, which is Carter. Off the snap quickly. Good leverage. Right hand into the ribs, right hand or yeah, left hand into the ribs, right hand into the chest, and just drives him vertically and out of the play. Now, yeah, he spins off of it, and he eventually he falls because he trips. But in terms of the initial movement here, taking him out of the play like that is obviously great, right? Quick off the snap, active in pass pro, center again. Okay, pretty easy here, but another situation where hey, you got a Gilligan here, you got a lock, and then everybody else is in gap pro to the left. Everybody's in gap pro, so he throws out that drag hand, makes contact with 98 with Carter just to assist the guard, but his eyes are on 93 as well because he knows that guard is also relying on him to get there. Right? We have Elton Jenkins whose feet are just wonky, right? Like what? Again, I don't think Elton Jenkins is the greatest player in the world. I don't know how he grades out. Maybe I'm off in saying that people think he's a good player. I think he's okay. But you have Myers who attacks the rib, tight elbow angle, extension, tosses the defensive lineman who just bulled the shit of Elton Jenkins because his feet are awful there. Yeah, overset, even though you have help, gets splashed. Yeah, just not good. But nonetheless, we're not reviewing Elton Jenkins. Let's see what he grades out as. Elton Jenkins. This is obviously the only metric I have quickly. Does he grade out high? I don't know if I can get it. 66.1 average for PFF. Okay. Yeah, I'd say he's about average, if not a little bit below. I didn't love it. Effort. Okay, for Myers right here. Let's watch. All right, getting his hands on three dudes. He's definitely a high effort player. So now this play, it's obviously a wider track for the running back, right? His aiming point, his aiming point at the second level is a backside linebacker. So he's a little more flexibility to take a couple more steps. Whereas vertical, it all happens quicker. So you have to get there quicker. So he chases it a little bit, but it's not bad because again of the aiming point, knowing how that linebacker should react to the run. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, attacks the hip, just pops him out outside a little bit. Again, aiming points that backside linebacker, climbs up, good angle, hands on, takes him out of the play, stalls the feet. Now he's falling to his face, then tries to get hands on 20, and he does. Just a hand, but still, three dudes in one play. One, two, three. One, it's a good play, and two, it's a high effort play. So double whammy, we definitely like that. Or triple whammy. Myers combo. Okay, your center. Again, aiming points, all this stuff, wider track for the running back. You could take a few more steps in that first level. One, two, three, five, right? Four, five, shove, eyes onto the second level.